Hey everyone, welcome to the Sunday vlog. I just got back from the Julie Nestor exhibition and I shot some footage there just to show you guys, catch you up on how the work turned out. So check this out. Hey guys, I wanted to follow up with, the art for the show you guys I've been making over the past few months, and just here it is. And I came in early just to shoot this for you guys, to give you a tour of the work. So this is the large piece, it's Pescadero. It's sold already, which is so cool. Probably was the fastest piece and the piece that I just really cut loose. And I stopped and I just sort of loved it, and it was like, can I stop here? So I did, and I'm happy I did. This piece, I think you remember, this went through a lot of changes. The thing that happened to this, I kept looking at it, and what was the thing? I needed to add something, and it was this. That just did it and sent it, and it just, that thing came in. It took like 3 or 4 days for that showed up. This piece, I'm really happy with, especially seeing it again in person. Again, when you see all the work in clean space, it's just a massive learning. And I like this a lot more than I thought I would. It's very light, it's really airy, and it's, I'm starting to understand how to use pastel, dry pastel, in with paint. So, and this piece, if you remember, was the very first one that I started experimenting with dry pigments. I mean, I'm talking about like pigments that don't have any medium with it, and rubbing it in. It's probably one of the more different pieces. And I just heard from the gallery, they were a little nervous about this because I sent this to them as the first one. Like, I'm working on it, here's one. And they just admitted, they're like, what's he doing? And so they weren't very confident about it. But it turns out people have come in the gallery and they've liked it. So now they put it on the wall. It's replacing another piece. You'll see that in a minute. So you just never know. And that's the lesson here. We're not the best jurors of our own art even, right? So this is that little yellow piece. This has probably gotten more attention, they say, than, what they sent a giant email out. And anyway, so it's just kind of interesting. I'm surprised. This color is pretty acidic, and I like it. But again, I'm not the best judge of it. But this was a fun piece I did right at the end. Then, of course, we got the 12 by 12 land. These are just great. And as you know, many of you have taken our programs, and I talk about this. This is my practice, staying in it, right? And just trying different things. And they had some 12 by 12s that were always here. And I thought, well, they could just show those, but they didn't fit with the new work. So the last minute I sent more. This was literally a piece I did during a podcast, when I'm making art, not even thinking. So these are just fun, and we've sold one of these already. So that's kind of cool. And then over here, we have this piece. What's cool about the acrylic, as you know, is that you can glue things in. And so I'm starting to glue. This is actually some of the pieces of paper how I make the surfaces. I put the paint down and I peel the paper off, and I got all these pieces of paper around my feet, which in the oil painting days, I'd just throw them away. But now it's like, oh my God, I can just pick up the color, glue it in, and then start covering up. So we're starting to get some interesting things happening. The shapes that I'm seeing on the floor. So this is kind of interesting. And I love what's happening with the blue here and the pencil lines. This piece, it started to click, and I started to get the surfaces that I was after. This is very much like, and you can't really tell in a photograph, but if you were here in person and you saw my older work, this is the kind of surfaces I love, and I'm starting to get it with the acrylic, which can be really plasticky. Again, collaging some things in, drawing. So I still love this one. And this one was one of my favorite pieces of the show, just because for me, it's really minimal and the palette is restrained. I didn't think this would land for others because it's so quiet. This is already sold, and I'm really stoked that it did. It's one of my favorite pieces. And then this one over here is just a fun, romping painting. I remember doing that paint, I'd been painting a long time, and I just thought, this is going to be free. This show is all about flourishing and just being yourself and just having what feels good. This show is about what feels good, and I want the work to just feel like me when I feel the most happiest version of myself. And I don't want them to be soupy and, kind of candy colored, right? But so this piece is really playful, and this is soul, which is pretty great. And and all of this work, by the way, was taken off of, we rolled it all up. I think I shared that in the Instagram. And they all came out perfect. They're all framed. They look just like they looked in the studio. So that's just an absolute win. These are the 3 paintings I did for my series in CVP, and I took CVP this year. We went over this. I filmed all of this live. This is our 18 by 18 size frames, which are dynamite. And, it's kind of cool to have the 12 by 12 and 18 by 18. We sold 2 of these. And I'm very surprised that the purple one sold, because I always have, this is the first purple painting I've ever made. And I'm not sure, but it's kind of cool that somebody else related to it. I thought the red one been the one. But this is my favorite one because of the complexity, and it feels like a winter storm or something. And really just, if you watch those videos, really trying to get the work loose. In many ways, these were the paintings that were setting me up for creating this body of work. And this is what we're doing in CVP. This is what we're learning, right? You can do a series, and then that can build to something bigger and bigger and bigger. And so this, you can see these paintings fit with all this work, even though none of this work was made when we started. That's a beautiful Joe Brubaker sculpture. Is a friend of mine, and love his work. But here's the red painting that I worked on that you remember, maybe, how it was, had all these colors. And this was just such an exercise in, taking my own medicine and realizing, I have this red color, and I keyed everything to it. I minimized everything, and then it started to get better. And anyway, I think it's a strong piece. It's fun. It's not for everybody, but it was fun. And then this one, the forest bath one, I really love this one. And I liked it when I made it. I wasn't sure totally, but now in the gallery, I kind of love this. And I love the drawing, and I can kind of, some pieces feel like there's more to be made in this direction, and that's the case with this. You can see this like almost stone granite quality. This comes from the dry pigments that I'm rubbing on the surface, and I love that. I just like the drawing aspect. This one I worked a long time on. I don't know if you remember, it was just layered and layered and layered. So interestingly, when you have a show, if you've been with a gallery for a while, they have older work here. So they still have this piece here, which is kind of fun to see. And boy, would I do it differently now. But what happens often is someone comes in, a woman was interested in that giant Pescadero painting that sold, but there's this one. So now she's working with this one. So there's something about multiples that kind of reassure people that this is not just a one-hit wonder, that they can imagine it better. They start to understand your work, even without understanding anything, but it comes from seeing the same person showing up in different ways. So they couldn't fit all the work in, and so there's a few more pieces over here. It's in the side room. They will take people during the show back here. I'm kind of bummed because I would love to have these in the show on the wall, but this is fine too. This is this really fun bubblegum painting. It's really fun, and this pink color, and then this is my blue painting, making a blue painting. And I was talking to Doug, who's one of the owners of the gallery, and I'm going, what do you think of this one? He goes, well, we like it, but the person who buys this was really going to have to like blue, which I guess, I think there's people out there. I like blue. So anyway, I made this because I wanted to have a piece that was, I like making paintings that aren't just many colors, but color becomes a bigger thing. The red one, the blue one, it's nice to have like a solid dark, a couple of those with the work. I'm making a collection that can be looked at when we look in the room. that there's differences and people can feel like they fit together, but there's differences as you look around. That helps the work stand out. Anyway, you guys, so I so appreciate, tracking this and all your comments and thoughts and feedback. And I couldn't resist coming in just to show you the work before there's all these bodies in the way and the lighting is good. So again, thanks so much. And I hope, my work here and all this time can be applied to what you're making, that it inspires you too. All right, guys, thanks so much. I hope you guys enjoyed that. The learning is always so amazing when you do this, and my studio is so empty and it's so filthy, and it was just such a great treat to see all the work in this real clean space. And now I've got this lovely spaciousness to start making more work. So I'm just kind of taking a pause, and I'm just excited to get going. So anyway, let me know in your comments what you're thinking, of what shows you've got coming, how you're doing. I have a podcast coming out with Nino Iuniardi, amazing artist, you guys, really great. And it's all about momentum. So click on the link below. They come out on Wednesdays. If you can, please subscribe. That's what moves the needles in terms of ratings, in terms of people seeing the podcast and even the quality and caliber of the guests I get on. But more importantly, I just wanted to thank all of you for all the comments, and so many of you who came to the show. I mean, some people flew in, and it's just a real big deal to me. It's really about the people and our community, and it was really, it was so energizing, and it's really because of all of us, and just all the comments and your feedback and your interest. It means the world to me. So thanks for that. And I can't wait to make some more work, and let's keep this party going. All right, you guys, I hope you have a great Sunday, and I will talk to you soon. Okay. Hey, everyone. If you found this helpful, I have a whole lot more to teach, share, and inspire you with every single week. So join the Art to Life YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Okay, let's do this. Awesome.